So a really big, beautiful welcome to all of you beautiful souls who are here for alignment activations. We're going to go through a process today of the seamless activation alignment, a process which will help you connect to your deep knowing and the perspectives on yourself and your life that maybe you don't normally have available, so that you can find clarity and calm in the face of chaos and take the inspired actions that you are here to take in this time. And I have people coming in from Texas and all over. It's very exciting. So I'm not going to say every single person as they come in, but it's fun to see you in this chat when you say where you're coming from. So before we really get started, though, I want to introduce you to two very special people who are dear friends and colleagues who I just am so loving playing with. We make a really great team. And I want to introduce you. So I'm going to introduce you first to Joy WhitePeacock woman, who is in LA, but from New Zealand originally. And I just want to tell you a little bit about Joy. So if you haven't met Joy before, you're in for a treat, because she's a rather remarkable person, as is our other lovely co-host collaborator too. So about Joy, Joy has suffered multiple traumatic brain injuries that created a life in which she can't see and do the things that most people can, but she can see and do things that most people can't. She has died 6 times, and each time she's returned with different perspectives and uncommon abilities. And I'm here to testify just how uncommon they are. I've been the recipient of them, to help others. She's a stress and trauma expert, an ex-corporate executive, and an accidental shaman. And you'll be able to find out more about her at experiencejoy.com, which is her website. And Joy is going to be starting our process today in just a little bit. And I also want to introduce you to our other remarkable guest, who I've also had the privilege of experiencing her great gifts. And that is Laughing Helen, also known as Grandmother Spider. She's from Alaska. She's in the Pacific Northwest, I think, right now. And hello, people who are coming, and we're so glad you're here. But let me tell you a little bit about Helen. So when I first met Helen, I was really struck by, well, we just had a real immediate connection, actually, with both of you, two wonderful women. We had a very immediate, very powerful connection. And about Helen, so Helen Wakefield Farrell is an intercessor of individual and group indigenous ceremonies that were passed on to her by her elders in the traditional way. And she supports personal and communal shifts by providing medicine for the people and for our beloved Mother Earth. So Helen has actually been traditionally trained and has heritage in indigenous traditions. So we're really honored to have her here, not only with her own personal wisdom and gifts, but bringing this very vital inheritance that she's sharing with us so generously. So I'm just so happy to have you here. And for those of you who don't know me, I should probably say, hi, I'm Dr. Pamela Moss, your soul guide. And I've been called to have these activation calls, and blessed to have really extraordinary colleagues to do them with you. And my website's thesoulguide.com. Helen's website is laughinghelen.com. So you'll get those links later if you want to find out more about them or see their gifts. So as far as our activation today, our alignment activation, I think we're just going to dive right in. So I think everybody's aware that with this current pandemic, there's a lot of chaos and confusion going on. There's a lot of strong emotions going on, people feeling fear, people feeling anger, feeling all kinds of things. And in the midst of all that swirl, there's really nothing more important than us finding our own true calm and our perspective that helps us see what is ours to do. So we can't do everything, but we have to find what's ours to do. And that's where our focus today is. We're going to get in alignment with what we are called to do, what's ours to do on the personal level and on the collective level. So that's what we're here for, to help us find that calm and clarity that we need. So I think we're just going to turn things right over to the remarkable Joy WhitePeacock woman to get us started. So take it away, Joy.
Thank you, Pamela. So when we were looking at what it was we wanted to offer, we realized that we've been in quarantine for a while now. And if you're locked up with other people, you might be feeling a bit tense. And so I'm going to be offering you 2 skills today. One is a conflict resolution skill, which will help you to resolve conflict in a non-confrontational way. And the other one is, if there are people in your life that are pushing your buttons, we're going to help you move the buttons today. So even if you're not confined with people that may or may not be driving you crazy right now, this is going to be a good skill for anybody in your life. So just take a deep breath. Because I know there's lots of other things you could be doing right now. Let's turn off Susan, shall we? Not that we don't love you, Susan, but we just need to make sure that everybody's videos and audios are turned off. Okay, so the first conflict resolution tool I like very much because it removes shame and blame. It helps everybody get really clear on what it is they want. It's called Feel, Want, Willing, and this is how it goes. This is how I feel. This is what I want. This is what I'm willing to do to get it. How do you feel? What do you want? What are you willing to do to get it? Now, what it doesn't look like is I feel like you're a complete idiot and you're not listening to me at all. And what it does look like is, what exactly is it that is disturbing or distressing you? And not projecting it out onto the other person, but simply getting really clear on what's going on with you and writing it down. And when we invite the other person to do that to them, the invitation is to get on the same page and to see without guilt or shame or blame or anything along those lines, just exactly where everybody is in the process. So that's one thing that I like to start with: feel, want, willing. This is how I feel. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do to get it. How do you feel? What do you want? What are you willing to do to get it? So take that and play with it and let me know what you notice. And if you need more help with that, I can help you later. But right now, I want to move in, because I've got very limited time, I want to move into the next skill, which will allow you to step back from any dramas that you've got going on. So take a moment to think about, is there something in your life or someone in your life that you just keep dropping into the same old soap opera with, and you're really done with it and you don't know how to extract yourself from the drama? Take a moment to think about that. Just choose one situation, one person, one little thing you've perhaps been playing with for years or days or whatever it is. And imagine that for a moment as an actual soap opera on the telly, and watch it play out in front of you. Come and sit back over here with me. I've got popcorn so you can watch it from a safe place. And look at that person that you're in the drama with and go, okay, so what role is that person playing in this soap opera? Is it victim or villain or protagonist or helper, or what role are they playing? And what role are you playing in that little soap opera drama? Are you enabling, or what role in the drama on the telly are you playing? And just imagine being able to see it play out, because you know what it looks like, especially if you've been doing it for a while, and I bet you're bored with it. So come and step back here. And just for a moment, ask yourself, what role would you rather be playing in this little soap opera that you've got going on? And if you can't think of anything, I'm going to give you a gift. It's a magic Sherlock Holmes hat, and it comes with magnifying glass and a little notepad and pen. And I'm going to invite you to choose the role of interested observer. And in this role, you're allowed only 2 words. It's not necessary to say them aloud. Not always wise. But these 2 words are, how interesting. So I want you to, you've got that soap opera on pause. Imagine stepping back in to the drama with your Sherlock Holmes hat on and your imaginary magnifying glass, and watch how the soap opera changes and plays out with you playing the role of the interested observer. And just take a moment to watch that movie. Because I know that you've noticed that we can't change the people outside of themselves or their behavior. But when we change our behavior, everything around us changes. Have you noticed that? It is the coolest thing. It is the coolest thing. So continue running the movie through and observing what happens as you play the interested observer role. And I want you to choose another scenario with one more person and see what role they're playing. And perhaps there are supporting players as well. If there's a family, there's almost certainly supporting players. What roles are they playing? And what role are you playing with each one? And again, imagine that playing out. You've seen it before. Watch the whole movie. Now stop. Step out. Put on your hat. Step back in again. And again, run the movie, but this time saying, and looking, how interesting. Oh, that person's playing the villain right now. What role am I playing? And the way that we know that we need to switch into the interested observer or that it's time to play this particular game is because our faces look like this. That's one trigger. I'm sure you get over, there's others. But when that person is driving me crazy, they're pushing my buttons, this, my darling, moves the buttons. And as you're playing it out in your head, as you're observing what happens, what you're doing is you are literally reprogramming the neurological pathways of your brain to view a different movie. Our subconscious will always opt for whatever is going to be in our highest good. But if it's only got the one program loaded, and if that program's been playing for your whole life or months or whatever it is, then that's the only thing it's going to see. So what this is a pattern interrupt loading a new program. That's why I'm getting you to do it repeatedly. And your joyscription is to choose the people in your life that are making you crazy and decide, might be time to play that fun game, and choose what role you want. And then step into that, visualize it, see it happening. And when you're confronted with it in real life, it'll be very much more easy for you to move into that role and document what happens and let us know, because it's marvelous. It's absolutely marvelous what we can do. You have the power to change your situation. And let's face it, chances are this quarantine is the perfect opportunity to do it. How much time have I got left, Miss Pamela? I don't want to overstay my time. You are going to have to hold up fingers because you're muted.
Now, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. You could have another whole 5 minutes if you like.
Ooh, what should I do?
You don't have to, though. It's really up to you.
Hands up if you'd like me to do a little group healing in that 5 minutes.
They have their videos off, but I bet they would like that.
Let's do it. So, yeah, in the first one I taught you how to clear stress, and the second one I taught you how to cleanse and seal your aura. This one is teaching you how to move the buttons. But let's prepare you for the wonders that Pamela has next for you. Just by imagining a beautiful cloud, that beautiful cloud of healing, cleansing light from the first gift that we gave you 2 weeks ago, inhaling it and sighing it deep into your body. Inhaling light from the highest source, whatever you perceive that to be, and sighing it into your body while you're watching that role of whatever it is you're choosing now with that person who is pushing your buttons. And I'm going to focus love on you while you're watching that movie. You ready? Father, Mother, Creator, God, Great Spirit, bless this person and all of their relations and their relationships, especially the one with themselves. Bring light and peace and hope and harmony and balance to their world. Let them know the beauty that comes from within them. Let them remember to fill themselves up with what they want to give and give from the overflow. May you be blessed. Over to you, darling Pamela.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you for that beautiful blessing and for reminding us what we all knew as children, that we can play. Children naturally play roles. They naturally go from one to the other. They remember it's a game. We just forget and get older.
Yes, life is a game, darlings. Play to have fun.
Cheers.
Place love and joy.
I love it. Perfect. Thank you so, so much. So just breathing that in. So what I want to take you in is you just had an experience of looking at a situation in your life, a relationship in your life that that needed some new perspectives and some healing and some love brought to it, to be able to give you some alternate roles to play so you can find some power in that situation. So I'm going to invite you to do now is that these challenging times are calling us to do that in our own personal lives. And they're also calling us to do that in the wider circle that we're part of and in the collective situation. So what I want to do is I want to have us all together look at that wider circle in your life, the collective situation that we're in with your inner eye. So that means you're going to look and see for yourself, what do you see? What does it look like to you? And your current role in that situation now, the situation, this wider situation beyond your immediate situation you were just dealing with. So it could be something that you see literally, like images or patterns or symbols or something that's metaphoric, or maybe something you just intuit or know as you look at the collective situation. Or it might be something you sense. Perhaps you hear words. You might feel it in your body as sensations or as emotions. You see a memory or have an image come up, you don't know what it means. Just allow and notice what is going on in the wider circle, in the collective situation that you could potentially make a difference in. You don't have to know what the difference is, but just what's yours to see right now. And just notice whatever you see or feel or sense. And maybe it could be whatever it looks like. If anybody's having trouble doing this, seeing, sensing, what does this look like from the higher perspective? The same interested observer perspective that joy brought you into the particular situation in your life or the relationship can also be applied to the larger collective situation. And from there, you might need to stand up a little bit higher than Sherlock Holmes. Maybe you need to stand on top of a hill and look down. But however that, or look up into the sky and see it play out. What does it look like to you? Symbolically, or what images come to mind, what patterns come to mind. And you can put what you're getting in the chat if you wish, or if you have trouble relating to this, you can also say, huh? I can see if I can help you. But I'm asking you to just see whatever you see with your inner eye, or your intuition, or your inner knowing, whatever you're being shown about what's going on now. What does that look like? What's going on in the collective field right now? And I also want to invite my fellow collaborators here to share if you're seeing something that you're seeing right now too, to just seeing or intuiting. And this is just, we're just tapping into there's something available when we collectively look at something. We collectively see the part that is ours to see. Kind of like the blind men feeling the elephant, they all see a different piece of it. Like when we can see it together, there's a certain kind of clarity that's possible. Okay, great. So I'm just going to share so Paula says, what I see is my heart opens and connects with source, and light bursts out and broadcasts upward. Beautiful, Paula. So you're seeing your role, like what is yours to do. And that's ultimately where we're going. So that's perfect. So what I invite you to do, Paula, is to see as you do that, as your heart opens and connects with source and light bursts out and broadcasts upwards, how does that affect the collective situation around you? And just notice that it does affect it. And Joy says it's all about building a new world in new ways. This is an incubation, not a quarantine. I resonate with that. Thank you. And I'm going to invite a few more people if they wish to share. What do you see? What are you aware of? What is going on in this collective chaos? What do we discern, either with our intuition or with our inner sight, or with our own experience in our body or in our personal experience of what's happening? And this is a bit of an experiment. So Hani okay, great, says a light that lights up and continues to continue lighting the web up. And Sophie says, I see sewing threads of connection that are there in potential but need to be woven. I've also seen a weaving needed. And Catherine says, I feel lost. Okay, as I'll come back to you, Catherine, in a moment. Dana says, I see a lot of love and care for others, and we need to keep this going and live our lives like this all of the time. Yes, and Joy says, what we choose now determines everything about what we are going to be emerging and how we will be living. So Catherine and others who are not getting anything for yourself, it's okay to just receive what other people are getting, and to see and to just receive that. So we're looking at different perspectives. For myself, what I see or what I feel into in these times is, yes, there's suffering, and yes, there's a lot of fear, but there's also this incredible potential. Things are opening up. We are cracking open systems and patterns that have been very stuck. And apparently they weren't going to get unstuck without something dramatic happening, maybe several dramatic things. And Denise says, I see there is self-love during this time. Yeah. And Bianca says, I see the bright light shining on the water and seeing a rainbow coming out of the ocean, so bright, colors of the rainbow. And it's very quiet and peaceful and very serene. Yeah. So I love it because you all are lights and healers. You're automatically jumping to the healing, the solution, which is perfect. We don't have to go with what it is right now. We're seeing what it is that can be and what wants to be. And our earth is healing. We all need to heal as well, Sustaina. Tiffany says, feeling more connected than there is time for what is really important, the deeper connection, more meaningful conversations, using my days for self-care and releasing all that's not important. Yeah, we're all doing that. And Joy is pointing out our focus determines our destination. So what we are seeing now, the things that are arising, what we're feeling, these are what we are focusing on, and these are what we're bringing into the new reality that is asking to be born through this collective incubation, into initiation, however we want to think of it. Yeah. So to help us go into this a bit more deeply, what I'm going to ask you to do is to have a conversation with, and it could be a conversation, a written conversation with your soul, or it could be with your higher self, or it could be with what you might call your trusted guidance, meaning you're not sure what your source is that you're connecting with, but you know it's something you trust for guidance. Because we're going to have a little conversation with this source, with your soul, your higher self, or trusted guidance, to see what is yours to do. And before we do that, to help you actually do this, I want to invite you to Just take some breaths where you are right now. And to connect with your heart, you might want to put your hand on your heart to help you connect with your heart, or just with your mind and your focus. Connect with your heart. And imagine as you are breathing that the breath, instead of coming in through your nostrils, is actually entering into your heart. You breathe in. Gustavo's saying people are reconnecting with their shadow aspects so they can be free to be more powerful. Yes, this is also a part of wholeness, is including things we formerly cut off. Absolutely, in ourselves and in society. I love the wisdom of this group. We collectively have a lot of wisdom, a lot of insights. You're connecting with your heart. And things may continue to come to you. That's fine. You can put them in the chat. And as you're breathing in through your heart and out through your heart, like imagine the breath is literally entering into your heart. And imagine, see, and sense inside of your heart, there's this beautiful flower. And this flower is curled up tight, all the petals of it. Sophie's seeing an amazing, sparkly, rose-colored aura. Beautiful. And Linda's seeing people shifting due to the pain they're experiencing. Yes, that's one of the things pain can do. It can be a teacher. Yeah. And imagine this beautiful flower in your heart, a rose or a lotus or whatever it is. As you're breathing in, you're opening it up. The breath naturally and gently is opening it up to experience giving and receiving unconditional love. And even if you don't think you've received unconditional love in your life, you know what it is. You know what it is to give it and to receive it. So breathing into your heart, opening it up to giving and receiving unconditional love. Just letting the beautiful petals open up as much as they're willing to do right now. And know that as you do this, you are allowing yourself to connect with the unconditional love of your soul, of your higher self, as your trusted guidance. Because all of those sources have unconditional love for you. So what I'd like you to do is if you have something to write with, you can begin. And if you don't, get something to write with. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to ask some questions of your soul, your higher self, or your trusted guidance, which you might call TG for short. And this is literally going to be a dialogue. So you're going to write your name first, followed by a colon, and say, I would like to speak with my soul, or my higher self, or my trusted guidance, whatever you prefer. And after you write, I would like to speak to you, you're going to say, are you there? And on the next line, you're going to put soul, colon, or higher self, or trusted guidance, or TG. And you're going to put whatever you get in response to are you there? Once you have that connection, so I would like to speak to my higher self. Are you there? Higher self. Yes, I am. I'm always here. Whatever you get. I would like you to ask some questions. I'm going to ask you to write down the questions, and then you can go and have a dialogue with the questions. And it's going to give you several questions. You can take your time to ask the questions, receive answers, ask clarifying questions, whatever you need. So the first question is, what can I do as an expression or support for this more beautiful shift that I see, feel, imagine to happen? What can I do to express or support that beautiful shift? So you're asking your soul, your higher self, your trusted guidance, that which knows the higher perspective for you and has unconditional love for you. What can I do at this time to express or support the collective beautiful shift that is already happening to help bring that into reality through my action? What can I do? And the next question I'd like you to do, and this is a very important question, is can you tell me of my larger mission for this time? Can you tell me of my larger mission for this time? Because we're living in an extraordinary time. And you are not here by accident. You are here on purpose. You are here with a mission. So you're going to ask your soul, higher self, or trusted guidance, can you tell me of my larger mission for this extraordinary time? And just relax and receive whatever you can. So hopefully you have those 2 questions. I will also put them in the chat, and just spend a little time asking your guidance for this. We'll be quiet, ask clarifying questions, get as much information as you can about what you can do now to express and support this shift, and what's your larger mission for this time. We'll just be quiet, give you some time. If you have any trouble connecting, just connect with your heart and relax, and just see what you get. No pressure. Don't try to edit it, just let it come through. When you feel like you've gotten the message you need to receive right now, I'm going to invite you to put it in the chat. And if it's something you don't feel like sharing, why don't put it in the chat. But if you feel like you'd like to share it, we would love to see what you're receiving. And if you're not done yet, just stay with the process, asking whatever you wish to ask, listening for the answers. I'm going to give you one more minute this time. You can always come back to this. Okay. All right, so several people have shared some things. Um, um, just surrender to me. Your mission is simply love, to love myself every day and trust this shift. So whatever you're getting to help others to love themselves and connect with themselves again, to continue with this mindset of caring, kindness, and love, to see this as something that will change us in the world and not be pulled into fear or anger. And Sophie said, I got a vision of myself leading some exercises in groups in a way that's really down to earth and easy for me. Very good. And somebody else said to stop doing so much and start being. Very good. Yeah. So whatever messages you're getting, this is so beautiful and so good. And um, if you if you have trouble doing this, I'm going to give you a resource later to help you do it. Just want you to know. And one person says it's okay. The first one, this person says the answer is to smile more, increase your vibration before each session. Allow me into the space with you. This is a psychotherapist. How beautiful to allow source into psychotherapy sessions with you. Yes. To create more light to give to others. Tiffany says, release all fear of being visible and vulnerable. Shine your brightness using all I am everywhere I go. I love it. Yeah. So whatever you're getting, and there's many beautiful things we're getting, adding my unique sense of fun and beauty to my collaborators. I said, how do I connect with my collaborators? And the answer was trust, step, 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 be your idealistic self. You must be an enlightenment practice available open. Honey, it says trust, 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 trust. Yes. Yeah. So, so beautiful. And you can keep putting things in here. What I'm going to want to do with you, oh my God, I want to give you so much. I don't know if I have time to do this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more little thing with you, and then I'm going to actually share a resource with you afterwards, which has the other things I wanted to do with you. The other things I want to do with you is I want to help you make this much more concrete and clear for you by doing exercise I call the 6 senses to clarity. So I'm going to share that with you. Yes, and I love it. Oh, and I love this. Sophie points out you can ask for help, not just information. She said, I asked for help to be my idealistic self. And my guidance said, absolutely, it's irrepressible. So you can not only ask for information, you can ask for help. And that's exactly how you can receive it. So it's really great. And this is such an important practice in this time, is to actually have these important conversations, not just once, but daily with your trusted guidance, with your higher self, with your soul. This is how you can step into doing what you're here to do, and to know these steps to take and the ways of being that you need to have. So beautiful. And I'm just going to ask you to thank whatever you were speaking with and see if it has any final message for you. And then we're going to pass this on to Laughing Helen. And so go ahead and take a moment to thank your source of guidance for showing up, for answering your questions, even if you didn't get anything. Just the fact that whether you got something or not, you are connected to your source, to your higher guidance. And if you didn't hear it, that's okay. I'm going to share some resources, as I said. Very good. So thanking your higher guidance and just feeling that heart connection. You can bring that with you into the next piece, which we're going to do with Laughing Helen. I just want to make sure that you yeah, so the resource I'm going to send you, just so you know, is my Inner Wisdom Treasure Chest, for those of you who don't have it, because it's going to give you some of these tools that you need. Let's see, there's still people putting wonderful things in the chat. And Joy is pointing out also that the more you do this, the easier it becomes. I remember when I first started doing these kind of conversations, I would just ramble on and on and on without ever asking, are you there? Because I was scared to ask, to actually listen, I think. So it's kind of a practice to let yourself listen and to just hear what you get without trying to judge it or anything. Okay, beautiful. Thank you all so much for sharing, whether you shared in the chat or just shared in your own private way by being here with us to have these important conversations. And I strongly encourage you to keep that up. Keep that as a beautiful practice. Ask, are you there, and open up to it. Don't just ramble on. Give room to receive. Okay, and Joy also says, so many people ask and talk but never stop to listen for the answer. Terrible manners. It's so true. Very good. Okay, I'm going to pass this over to you, Laughing Helen, and thank you all so much for your participation and your attention.
Thank you, Pam.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Joy. What a beautiful flow this has been so far, and a perfect place for us to continue on from. So what I'm seeing at this moment is that everybody has hit a elevated place within themselves and within the collective. And this is a glorious place to be. We have a lot of upgrades and initiations and all kinds of things happening on individuals and around the planet. And in pictures larger than us that maybe we don't even understand. Some of the information that I've been receiving is that portals within the earth that haven't been open for a long time are now opening, that portals that have never been opened are opening, and that's true outside of the earth as well, because this is a larger orchestration than we could fathom. But that all of us may have made a contract to be here at this time to do our part. So the first song that I'm going to put up today is the Bigfoot song. And in our way, the Bigfoot is not a myth at all. It's a part of our relations. It's a part of our family. And it began here in North America. It was always our family. And then it needed to learn to hide. And maybe within all of us, there's places that we have felt a need to hide up until this point. There's a history on this land with viruses. There's a history on this land with needing to hide. And so it's a part of the Earth Collective as well. And we're just revisiting that spot on the medicine wheel. And it's the perfect timing to do that. And so the end of the prophecy to which this song comes from is that we will all remember, and the Bigfoot will show himself again and herself when it is safe and when it is time for us to all be seen. And so what I'm going to ask as we're putting up this song is that you go back to the place where Pam had led you, and that you suspend yourself in that place. This is the place that we call the Great Mystery. We call it the Great Void. We call it, the scientists call it black matter. It is the place where nothing and everything exists. So however you may see yourself in this nothingness, perfectly suspended in trust and support, as we put up this song, be seen. And all right, we're going to start with that song. The next song will continue the visualization. So finding your trust, finding your suspension, finding your everything and your nothing. As you've been in touch with your higher self, as you've been in touch with your guides. Yeah, hey, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, oh, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, oh, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, So the children really love this song. This is a song of celebration and innocence, and it's also a song of strength and endurance. Because we're all going through times where we're building different muscles. We're strengthening maybe some old tools that have worked for us in the past. And so we're going to, in this suspension, in these new portals that have opened up, we're going to see golden threads coming to us. Golden threads of support, golden threads of all of that who celebrate and acknowledge you and your being seen, and your being your role in the world. There's so much support for this right now. Then the breath in, breathing in as these lines are connecting to you. Maybe they're from the stars, maybe they're from the trees, maybe they're from the center of the earth, maybe you love stones, maybe you love rainbows, maybe you love amethyst. What it is that you feel that supports you. Because these lines are all getting upgrades right now. And through this call, you've been receiving an upgrade. And so your frequency is raising. And these golden lines are providing you with new lines to add to the same lines that you have. And through that, the lines that no longer serve just don't vibrate at the same frequency anymore. So we're creating space by adapting to these new lines for this place where you're becoming who you are. And we're gonna call it an old ceremony, Sundance ceremony, and White Buffalo Cap Woman put up a Sundance song. Because sometimes we give up things in order to bring in the things that we need to help ourselves and others. And so these are old ceremonies. And it also has been prophesied that these will be here in these times as well. And that's why we've kept them alive to this moment. And so, maybe you're laying on its back. Maybe it's standing in front of you. Maybe it's got its big head against you, and you can feel that sense of support. However, White Buffalo comes to you, all these golden threads of this new awakening. You put up the Sundance song, just breathing into that and seeing as your golden threads, maybe they have a little more light flowing through them. Yeah. Maybe their color is different for you. However it is for you, listen to your guidance. See if they're getting a little stronger right now, if they're holding a little higher vibration. And so there, I feel like if you were at your big graduation, if you were at your big celebration, everybody was cheering for you, are totally suspended by the golden threads that support you. How now, if you have everything you need, of how that looks like to feed yourself in the center of this web, to keep coming back to the exercises that fulfill you, and to continue to listen and be still, to ask for help. All that is there to support and love you. Continue to receive. And then once you've received, to give away, to become your peace and our solution. Because we need all of us right now. We're one great big universal web, and each one of us is playing a part. And in the cells, we're going to finish with your cellular DNA. The Star Nation song. The DNA is a double helix that is always splitting and then remaking itself. And the way that evolution happens within the cells is in its reforming, and the other half of the new strand of DNA is occasionally a mutation happens. So if we were all having a global mutation right now, it's the result of a virus that has always been a part of mutations of evolution. How do you see that? And it can look however you see it, however things are splitting in half, and you're recreating a new half. It has a little spiral thing going with it, and you are a part of the mutants on the planet right now. And everybody's so excited to be here right now. We've been waiting up until this moment for this to happen. So, put up a Star Nation song. Know that all that is available on this planet is well. Amen. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your DNA and your cells and all the mutations that you hold for us. And now we're just going to take all the deep breath in. Part of your being. Call it into your heart. Call it into your pelvis. Big breath and the cells and all. I don't know. And taking that down through your legs, out your perineum. See it as it comes into the earth and with all that is part of this earthly existence as well. Each breath in, coming into your core. Each breath out, while you're breathing in, is the wires are a little thicker, a little stronger. Each breath out, lying down to the center of the earth. A little thicker, a little stronger. A little more of who you are. Great thanks to all that's been here for all of us today. And great thanks for this time on the planet. And whatever you're grateful for. And we just give a couple more breaths. Really feel that as it's now in every part of who you are and all of your being. Dimensions. And we open that up for chat. Please feel free to offer your experience, offer your message to the world, offer who showed up to support you, how your visualization looked. We can be the first ones on the planet to acknowledge that you are seen in a physical form. I'm honored to be here today and to be a part of that. Thank you for joining us. Hechitulo, it is so. Washte, it is good. Hokka, it is now. Wopla, Prandia. In a sacred and an everyday way, I thank you. Oho, Matakuyas. To all my nations, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just drinking all that in, and so we have a question here from Yingxi Wanson. Says, thank you so much. Can you share more about the portals that are opening and where to find out more information on that and what that means for our roles?
So in a lot of the indigenous ways, the star nations are a part of our family. And so one of the way that you can check on that is through astrology. Some of the portals that I have planets that are lining up. And so in also wanting to keep in that we are all using our own listening, there's an interpretation for each one of us for that. So if you can pull up an astrology chart for the full moon, that was what was available on the full moon. And if you imagine yourself in where planet Earth is, in that, when we were all in grade school, we had to learn how the planets all rotated around the sun and all of those things. And if you imagine yourself in your place on the planet as all of that is orchestrating on a larger level, that will help you to understand how the portals are for you, and also how the portals from the earth are where you're standing on the earth. Did that make sense?
The answer to many of the questions that we have is actually, if we ask our higher guidance, we can be told directly. So we can look to outsiders for help, but actually we all have a direct connection if we have the courage to ask for that. So yeah. And Joy was sharing that steadfast bison appeared to me recently in ceremony. Today he was here with white buffalo, and I'm beginning to understand why. Thank you. I could let Joy say that herself, but yeah. So everybody here on this call, whether you realize it or not, you are here for a very particular reason, and you're here for a particular reason, not just to being on this call, but here in this time. And we want you to know that you are supported. and that we are building community around these calls for deep support, not only for the calls themselves, but as a community for what we can, how people can be supported to step up, to be seen, to do their part, to bravely find their path forward, and joyfully and playfully. It doesn't have to be hard work, lest we forget. And S has a question for Helen. Did you get anything about the comment that's coming close now? Thank you. And then Catherine will answer your question about what if you ask and don't receive a response. So go ahead, Helen, if you would answer the question about the comment. Do you know anything about that?
Well, again, I turn it over to using your own listening, and that all of the things that are in the universe are in alignment with what we're doing right now. My own interpretation would be that the way a comet moves within the universe is impacting. So I suggest you ask yourself that. Not necessarily that it's impacting the Earth physically, but everything is impacting. And the other piece in this moment that I'm being asked to share is that many times when there have been things that have hit this planet in the past from the stars, and every time it was a matter of bringing new things to the planet, new minerals, new microorganisms, and that isn't to say that that's what's happening, but the comet can bring that. Whether it actually lands here or not, it's carrying its own medicine full of minerals and living organisms. So my suggestion is that you tap into that to hear what that has for you.
Thank you. I want to answer Catherine's question. I'm sure she's not the only person who asked this question. She said, what if you ask and do not receive a response? So a couple of things can be going on there. One of them, I mean, many things perhaps, but the things I'm aware of is that one of them is that parts of you may be concerned about actually listening to guidance and may block you receiving information or wisdom. Like you may not trust yourself, in other words, to have some part of you that may be resisting. If that's the case, if you find out that it's true that some parts of you have concerns about connecting to guidance, either through using muscle testing or a pendulum or just your own intuition, that maybe some part of you is resisting it, you need to do some work with that part of you to see what it's so scared about or concerned about, and see if it will allow you to receive wisdom or information from higher guidance. And the tools to do that, as well as some other, is actually a lot of things for having conversations with guidance and how to tell if it's real, etc., are all in my Inner Wisdom Treasure Chest. Let's see, Kathy says, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you for sharing your gifts. This has been such a gift. Ying says, what if you ask and too many responses come and you don't know what to take action on? And when you ask what to prioritize, it gives you a different answer each time. So we've got the two extremes. What if you get nothing? What if you get way too much? So for Ying, sometimes it might help to, like, you might have several sources of guidance which are all trying to tell you like different perspectives and things on what to do. And like, it just means, I think you have a lot of opportunities. Like, you always have a lot of opportunities, and they're going to make suggestions. And actually, Joyce, and it's such a great question. Maybe you should do another call around connecting with upstairs management. And her battery's almost dead, so she's going out. I think that is an awesome thing to do our next call on. Our next activation is to help people open the pathway to connecting to guidance, and having this be something you use all the time, not just, you know, once in a while on a call, but be something you can learn to rely on, because it's just one of the most powerful and life-changing practices you can do, at least in my experience, is to really develop your ability to hear, to listen, to see what is wanting to come to you.
May I add something, please?
Of course, yeah.
So is that we get to orchestrate our own experience. Mm-hmm. And so you are like the director of like the movie that Joy was talking about, right? And so you can make agreements with what is or isn't coming in. Mm-hmm. You can set an intention and say, I'm going to hear one person at a time. Please line yourself up in order of importance that I can hear. And you must clear order of importance with my higher self. And I'm going to take 5 breaths. And then the thing I need to hear the most is going to come through first. And so there's, and it can look how you want it to look, but you definitely have the response dash ability to organize your experience and to be a co-creator and collaborator of your experience. Oh,
thank you so much for that reminder. It's very important that you can say, hold on, one at a time. Yes. And here's and Aniki has a comment for you, Helen. I'm not used to your culture, but I felt so much pain while you were singing. It reminded me that love is not being shiny, happy people all the time, but going very, very deep and going through pain. And then we can laugh better than ever, even in hard times. Thank you for being you. She totally got you and your journey just from hearing you sing.
Yep. All of our pains are being brought up right now. So, yes, there is both in our prayers. So thank you for witnessing and feeling.
Yeah. So in this beautiful space here, there's just room for people to make requests or to ask questions before we go, because we are here to support you. And you can, in this moment, by making a request, receive the collective positive energy, love, support, blessing. So we've never done this before, but I wanted to put that out there. Mark says, yes, please work on connecting to our guidance and also how to deal with interference from outside sources that can impact your getting messages and guidance. That'll be our next call. I'm hearing the request. It's absolutely on time. Thank you. We'll be doing that next. We'll have a whole call about that, whole activation about that.
Cleansing and sealing your aura will help with that enormously. I covered that last week.
Oh, yeah. So if you weren't here before, Joy actually gave, and we'll put these gifts out again so people can get them if they didn't before. Joy has a gift for clearing and cleansing your aura, so that would outside interference can literally be cleared out when your aura is cleared out. So
and that's all kinds of outside experience.
Yeah.
Not just negative. Well, yeah. So that's on experiencejoy.com under Aura Cleanse and the empowerment. And I've got I did an aura cleanse for the coronavirus that you can do while washing your hands as well.
Oh, beautiful. Thanks for reminding us of that. Yeah, and Helen says in gifts too, we have so much we want to give you. And we're not going to give it to you all at once though, because that would be overwhelming and you wouldn't really, how do we want to say, consume it. You would just say, whoa, a lot of stuff. We're going to try to make it very focused so that you get what you need now. And Marcus saying, you guys are great, and I need that aura cleansing and sealing. So
we all do, darling. We all do.
Yes, lovely. It says, lovely, Angela. Okay, so Sophie is saying, I'd love a moment with the group blowing out any sticky places in me that would cause either too slow action, too urgent, worried action. And Angela would love to hear how others are returning to positivity and optimism after feeling the deep grief. I'm getting a little stuck there. So let's do both of those requests. Thank you for requesting. Thank you for asking for what you need. So Sophie would like the group blowing out any sticky places in her that cause either too slow action or too urgent or worried action. So Sophie, that's what she's asking for us to do. So Sophie, you are opening up those places in you that are feeling sticky to you, that make you work either too slowly or too urgently, worriedly, so that you instead can come from a calm place, calm, clear place. And blowing that out, I'm going to invite people to participate that and however they're guided to do, as long as you're willing to receive that, Sophie. Since you're asking, I'm assuming you are.
I'm also calling in the eagle feather to help out all those who want to receive that.
Yep. And bringing down light from the highest source. So if you want it blown out, darling, you participate by inhaling this light and exhaling it down into your body, into whatever parts of you are still feeling sticky.
Yes.
Exhaling light and blowing out the sticky.
Yeah, I love that. So you're doing it for yourself and we're holding space and supporting you.
Exactly. I'm just going to make a sound. I've got no idea what sound. It comes through me, not from me. ko e mo te kia. Shh. Shh. Shh.
That's how to do it. Thank you.
Have some water.
Water is good, everybody, if you have some water. And I think Angela asked a really important question. I'd love to hear others are returning to positivity and optimism after feeling the deep grief, and she's getting a bit stuck there. And Rika wants to have a little help blowing away everything in me that gets in the way of being able to receive. And Sophie says, wow, I blew out myself and felt that in everybody's energy very tangibly. Thank you. So Rika, you can take in this exact same process that was just done and receive it for yourself. Bring that light in and notice that there's places in you that you don't receive, and just like, you just let it come on down and feel that same piercing sound is for you also. You can receive all of that. And Dana said, I felt that was super powerful. I felt it strongly. So absolutely, whoever needs to blow out anything.
It's not just for Sophie. It came through for everybody who.
Yes, I felt it go whoop. Yes. So even if you decided after the case you wanted to receive it, you did receive it. Receive it now.
Yeah, just play it back.
Yep, you'll have the recording. You can play back too. Thank you. Thank you. So all of you receive it for whatever you need it for. That's why it's being offered. Okay. And Dana says, thank you for the smoke, Helen. So I do want to come back to Angela's request. I'd love to hear how others are returning to positivity and optimism after feeling deep grief. She's getting stuck there. Joyce, your gal, here you go.
It's my ballywick. First of all, it's okay to feel deep grief. Sometimes you just got to. I mean, sadness is joy turned all the way down. And I think it's really important to honor the grief and to give it a time limit. Decide how long you're going to grieve, and then fill yourself with everything that brings you joy, darling. You move by shifting your whole attention to that which is positive, that which uplifts you, that which supports you. Look here. Think of an orange. What color is it? Okay, now think of a lemon. What color is it? You've just done the most powerful thing it's possible to do. You have taken a thought, you've placed it in your head, and then you exchanged it for another one. And I'm going to tell you a wonderful secret, darling. Are you ready? This works for more than just fruit. You can choose your thoughts. And if you want to create a different experience, you must choose your thoughts. So what thoughts bring you joy? What thoughts make you feel positive and happy? Choose those ones, because you can. You truly can. It's only a thought. A thought can be changed. But don't disregard the grief. Honor it, and then look for what uplifts you.
And if I could add to that, sometimes the grief, there's an action to take. Like maybe there's a letter you need to write, even if you don't mail it. Or maybe there's a little ritual to do. That sort of closes it up with thank you very much. So it doesn't have to be an endless flow. That feels appropriate. Just ask yourself, what do I need to, with honor, complete this, or what is the action that the grief is asking me to take?
Fantastic suggestion. And right now, it couldn't be a better time. It's Easter. All of the energy is supporting letting the old die and resurrecting the new. And so as we're creating what it is that we want to birth in this incubation period, grief is going to come up because we're letting parts of ourselves that no longer serve us, perhaps, parts of ourselves that we don't want to be taking into this new era as we are creating a new world for ourselves, as we are dreaming a new way of being with ourselves and with one another. So also, I think it's important to be aware of not for you necessarily, darling, but for especially the empaths in the group, whose grief is it? Because unless you're cleansing and sealing your aura, a lot of us are taking on the grief of the collective and the rage and all of the other things, because there's so much going on out there right now.
Yeah.
And I'd like to add a little piece in death and rebirth in indigenous and native North American native ways. We have these teachings called the medicine wheel. Rebirth is happening throughout our entire life until the moment we leave our bodies again. And so with that, the medicine wheel is going round and round. But as the medicine wheel is going round and round, it also is moving in this direction. And so every time that you are visiting a spot on the medicine wheel, it's perhaps that you've been there before. And maybe it's the first time, but if it's your first time, perhaps you'll be there. And then to celebrate the fact that you're not the same person that was there before, that you have had all the experience in between that first and second, or second and third, or whatever moment it may be. And so you get to is being reborn this time. And so just piggybacking on what Joy said, our brain doesn't know if we're creating a memory or if it is actually one. So you get to be, again, your own orchestrator of how you want that to look by shifting your thoughts and taking the action in your response dash ability, in your evolution above and around the medicine wheel. Oh,
Awesome. It's so greatly explained, mate. Good on you.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
And Catherine's saying, I've always felt blocked from all these things. What works for others seems to not work for me. I feel like a child with her nose pressed against a window, watching others have fun, experiencing miracles. Oh, dear Catherine, we can help you figure out what's in the way and release it. We probably can't do it right now, but I want to invite you to, it's your desire to shift that means that it's possible for you. So we can figure out what's going on there. And in fact, one of the things I'm feeling called to do as part of our offerings with these calls, although they be separate, is something I've been calling the blockbuster show, which is actually literally when people come on with whatever they're dealing with, and we identify, all right, what's your block, and let's see if we can release it right here, right now, because that always sounded to me like a lot of fun. I love that. So for this month, we're doing these activations for free. We're going to be putting out an offering that's going to include some things that can support you in the future and the present. And we're going to offer it in the gift, meaning you can pick the price that is right for you so that everybody who wants to participate can. Yeah, so I just want to give you a heads up that that's coming. So, and we'll still do activation calls for free too. So we want to support people. And we also want to build community so that we can really truly dig in together and support each other and really receive all that you need. Shauna says, I'm so grateful for this time and how the universe before this time had already aligned to support me during this time. I feel this is a call to everyone to take time for self, to go within. Thank you, all that is. I feel that very strongly too, Shauna. Here we are, unable to go out in many parts of the world. Yeah, we got to go in.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful people, beautiful souls. And any final things anybody wants to say before we close this call out? We will do more. We're going to also put out an offering for you to support you in more than just an occasional call. So anything else anybody would like to say? Bianca says, thank you so much. I'm feeling very grateful for all of you. You are amazing. Takes one to know one. And thank you, Dana, for putting up the websites. And we'll put these out with the replay. We'll have the websites with the gifts in them too. So you can get them there. And just thank you so much for showing up in the fullness of who you are, because this wouldn't be possible if you weren't showing up. People sort of half-assed, you're looking at your phone or doing other stuff. You know, you were here, you were present. Thank you for that gift. Yeah,
Thank yourself for that gift.
Yes. Thank yourself for that gift. Yes. Yep. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Everybody's saying thank you. Love the connections. Much love and gratitude. Oh, we're so grateful for you too. It sounds like we're kind of finishing up and it's time to go. So love, love, love to you all. Bless you all. And Nikki's saying thank you from the bottom of my soul to your souls. Oh my goodness, isn't it good to be together with people who are this open-hearted and open-souled? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you for all the love pouring in. Well, to be continued. So have a blessed rest of your day. Drink this in, use the tools we've given you, and look for the replay, which will have the links to the additional gifts. Love, love, love to you all. Any last words for you, Joy and Helen?
Let us know how you go. I mean, these tools are fantastic tools, but they're no good if you don't use them.
This is true. There's the tools you keep in your backpack and the tools you actually use.
All right. I agree with that. I just
Yes.
thank everybody. Love ya.
Love you, love you, love you. So goodbye, everybody. We're going to say goodbye for now.
Bye-bye. Thank
Until
you.
next time.